Hey everyone! We don't have any new patrons to thank today, so we want to take this time to remind you that if you want to join our Discord community, submit study questions, and join in on our future Mansfield Park watch parties, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/pod and prejudice. And now enjoy this week's episode covering Volume 2, Chapters 7 and 8 of Mansfield Park.
This is Becca.
This is Molly.
We are here to talk about Jane Austen.
We are here specifically to talk about
Mansfield Park. Listeners, if you're new here, I, Becca, have read many Jane Austen novels through my life.
And I, Molly, am reading all of her works for the first time through this podcast.
If you want to hear Molly read through Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, or Persuasion for the first time, you can listen to seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 of this podcast, respectively. But that is not what we're doing here today.
No, today we are talking about Mansfield Park, Volume 2, Chapters 7 and 8, or if your book is not broken up into volumes, Chapters 25 and 26.
Yes, and I feel very funny about having split up the chapters the way I did here. I did this on purpose, even though it's like a weird spot to end on. But you'll understand when we get to the next couple chapters.
Okay, great. Yeah, it didn't feel weird to me, but I look forward to finding out what happens next.
Exactly. Okay. So what happened last time is that our saucy little naughty boy, Henry Crawford, has decided that his new plan is to make Fanny Price fall in love with him and break her heart.
One of our patrons has requested merch that says Henry Crawford is a naughty, naughty boy.
To go with the Eleanor Dashwood is the goddamn liar.
Exactly.
Merch. Yeah, I think we got to make it happen.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a naughty, naughty boy.
Naughty boy.
He is indeed. He's brought the spice into the book a little bit.
It's thrilling. We love it. It has also, after listening to last week's episode, which for context listeners came out yesterday in real time. I listened to it 2 nights ago, came into the bedroom. I said, Mel, what is that movie where there's a guy and he's just so surprised the first time he meets someone who doesn't like him? And he's like, oh my God, I have to have you because you hate me. And she was like asleep and she goes, 10 things I hate about you. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Except for people don't like him, but he doesn't care about other people not liking him, but he does care about Cat not liking him.
This is actually a pretty common trope. Like one of our patrons also brought up She's All That.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that one.
Long time ago, if I did.
It's not aged wonderfully, but it is also a spectacular time capsule. And it is the same plot. He makes a bet that he can turn any girl at school into the prom queen. It's based on Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. Yet another example of this same trope.
Wow.
Also My Fair Lady, same plot, which is like, I feel like I, arrogant man, would love to get a woman to fall in love with me for the bit. Whether it's an article, a bet, ego, boredom, there are lots and lots of different things. This is also a thing in Cruel Intentions, which is not a comedy, but certainly does have this aspect to this story to the extent that, like, I have had people tell me they think Cruel Intentions is based on Mansfield Park,
Whoa.
which it is not. It's based on, I think, Dangerous Liaisons, maybe. But, like, there's a different classic it's based on. But, like, this is a known entity. Is Henry Crawford, you have a naughty boy who sees a fresh-faced girl who's not taking his shit, and he must have her.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that is where we are. So chapter 7, or chapter 25. The two families, being the parsonage and the Bertrams, have been hanging out now as much as they used to, like in the days of
Yore.
the days of yore before Thomas came back, partly because of the return of Henry and William, but also because Sir Thomas decides that he likes the Grants and the Crawfords and he would like to spend time with them. And because he notices that Henry is showing Fanny attention.
Yes.
But he doesn't notice this at first. It doesn't happen until their first time hanging out. So this is the story of the time that he noticed.
Yeah, so Jane Austen's turned to the audience and said, okay, so now the Crawfords and the Grants are hanging out a lot with the Bertrams, and that is because Sir Thomas is enjoying their company, but more importantly, he noticed Henry Crawford has a thing for his niece.
Mm-hmm.
Let's cut to scene.
Cut to scene. So they have dinner. It is lovely. Everyone has a great time except Mrs. Norris, because how dare they have a lovely dinner. And after dinner, they set up 2 tables. One for whist. I'm sorry, I have to say it like that.
Whist.
Whist. And one for speculation. But oh no, Lady Bertram doesn't know which one to play. Luckily, she can ask Sir Thomas which one she's going to enjoy more, which I thought was hilarious and also very me coded.
And is it Mel coded to say you should play speculation and secretly it being because she doesn't want you as her partner for whist?
No, that's not Mel coded, but
Mel would teach you how to play whist.
Mel would teach me how to play whist, but that is what Sir Thomas does. She says that, okay, Fanny will teach her how to play speculation because she also doesn't know how to play that. And Fanny's like, I also don't know how to play speculation. And Henry swoops in to say, don't worry, I'll sit between you and teach you both.
Ladies, let's take you on a speculative ride.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that's my Henry Crawford voice.
That was good. Very smooth.
Ladies.
Oh my God. Buttery. The narrator refers to the whist table as the table of prime intellectual state and dignity, which I thought was a sick burn to everybody at the speculation table.
Yeah, kind of.
Fanny learns the rules very quickly, but, quote, he had yet to inspirit her play, sharpen her avarice, and harden her heart. Avarice meaning extreme greed for wealth or material gain. Essentially, she doesn't want to play dirty against her brother. She's just playing, but she's not playing to win.
Yeah, no, she's not into it. Like, you have your people who just play games casually, and then you have your people who play to win.
Like me.
You're competitive on the games?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you're Henry in this situation,
Yeah.
and I'm Fanny in this situation.
I guess it depends what game, because, like, do I try really hard to win Catan? Yes. But do I expect to win Catan? Never.
This is reminding me of the trivia game at my bachelorette party.
Oh my God. Wait.
Am I allowed to like put you on total blast
I
here?
mean, sure.
So there was a trivia question that Molly was like really sure she had right about me. And then when she got it wrong, she was so sure she was right and the trivia game was wrong that she called Mike or no, texted Mike.
I did.
And Mike confirmed that she was in fact wrong. And she's still smarting from this experience.
Yeah. It's upsetting because it was about Doc.
Yeah.
And I feel like I pay attention to that boy, you know?
Yeah, you do. And he loves you. You're like his favorite little lady.
Thank you.
But you did get the question wrong.
I did.
And that means your avarice popped right out.
My avarice popped right out. And
which sounds so filthy.
Henry plays for Lady Bertram, which I think is hilarious. He won't let her see her cards the entire time. So he's just like, oh, don't worry about it. Lady Bertram is going to play this card. After the whist, Mrs. Grant checks on Lady Bertram, and Lady Bertram is like, yeah, this is fun. It's a very odd game. I'm not allowed to see my cards. Henry then tells Edmund what happened yesterday after their hunt. He had gotten a little turned around when he left, and he couldn't bear to ask directions. So he just wandered until he stumbled upon a cute little church on a knoll, which was Thornton Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
And Edmund's like, which way did you go? And he's like, it doesn't matter. I'm positive it was Thornton Lacey. And Edmund's like, did you ask someone that if it was Thornton Lacey? And he said, no, I never inquire. But I told a man mending a hedge that it was Thornton Lacey, and he agreed to it. This is just so indicative of who Henry Crawford is.
No, I never inquire. Wait, let's see if I get the voice. I have to say, ladies. No, I never inquire.
I never
inquire.
Edmund doesn't remember telling him what Thornton Lacey looked like. So I'm wondering if Mary Crawford is telling him. Like, maybe. Oh, so Thornton Lacey, listeners, for your context, is the living.
Yeah, that's Edmund's current living because Dr. Grant has taken over the better one.
Mm-hmm.
So Thornton Lacey is like the littler one he's settling for.
The one that he's going to be taking.
Yeah, until Dr. Grant leaves the position.
Yes.
Which is not anytime soon.
So I think what I'm getting from this is that Edmund described it to Mary and Mary described it to Henry because Edmund said that he didn't really ever talk about it to Henry.
Yeah, also very possible. I think it's more like he is aware of Edmund's situation because Mary is anxious about Edmund's situation.
Yeah.
And has put two and two together.
Sure. Edmund asks him if he liked it, like what he thought of it. And Henry's like, oh, you're so lucky. There's so much work to be done around it.
Which feels like a sick burn.
Oh, it is a sick burn.
Yep.
Because, like, Henry famously loves a fixer-upper.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen so my one of my deep hobbies is going on to like Zillow and Trulia and looking at real estate, and you just know there is like ambivalence from the real estate agent when you see a listing that says stuff like dripping with potential.
Yes.
And you're just like, "Oh, so what's wrong?
Yeah.
Why is it only potential? Why is it not realized potential?"
Right. So Henry's like, "Oh yeah, it has so much potential." And Edmund's like, "I thought it was what?" And he tells Edmund that he has this plan for the house. He's like, "Yeah, you just have to rearrange the entire thing so that the windows of the best rooms face the best view." And he says that the meadows in particular are very pretty, so if they don't already belong to the living, he should purchase them with the money that he has.
Mhm.
And Edmund's like, "Listen, I'm not gonna do any of that. The home is gonna be comfortable for me, and I hope it will be comfortable for anyone who cares about me," and kinda looks at Mary. And then Mary makes herself busy with her game, and she pays too much for William's knave and says that if she doesn't win the game, it won't be for lack of trying. Quote, "I am not born to sit still and do nothing." This is all in regards to the game and not with
Yeah, it
regards.
certainly has no bearing on anything else going on in the room.
Right. So they deal a new game. Mary ends up winning that one, but she loses a lot of money because she was just trying to get that knave. And Henry says that Edmund must do something to the house. The place deserves it. It has so much potential. And you want it to feel like it belongs to a gentleman. So he tells him to remove the farmyard because it's a mansion like house. And without the farmyard, it will be easy to make it feel gentlemanlike, but it is capable of so much more. It could look like the home of a man of education, taste, modern manners, and good connections. He turns to Fanny and says, "You agree with me, right? Have you seen the house?" And Fanny has not. And she's like, "I'm trying to play this game."
Will you excuse me? This is not of interest to me at
No,
this moment. Yeah.
exactly. And William is trying to buy her queen at this moment. And Henry's like, "No, no, no, no. She will not part with her queen." Wait, this is annoying, right? Like, this is annoying. She's trying to play the game. And he's like, "Fanny, don't worry. I got you." And then speaks for her.
You look so indignant on Fanny's behalf.
I am, because when I was reading this, I was like eating it up, but now I'm saying it out loud and I hear myself and I'm like, "Ugh, that's kind of annoying."
I mean, yeah, I think he's just kind of like he is playing this off as a different kind of game than Fanny is. Fanny's actually trying to play the game.
Yeah.
Which if you're playing a game, then the other person is trying not really playing. You're like, it's your turn.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So he tells Fanny she's going to win. And Edmund says Fanny would rather William won. Quote, "Poor Fanny, not allowed to cheat herself as she wishes," because, Fanny would not want the attention of winning. Mary says to Edmund that he must engage Henry to help him with Thornton Lacey. Thornton Lacey. I'm going to keep saying it like an American. I'm sorry. Thornton Lacey. Because think about how helpful Henry was at Southerton. And that makes Fanny look up and glare at Henry because we all remember Southerton was
The haha.
the ha
Ha ha gate, if you will.
ha ha ha. And Henry is like, shit. He catches her eye. She looks away and he goes, "Listen, I didn't really do that much at Southerton." And then he like quietly says to Fanny, "I should be sorry to have my powers of planning judged of by that day at Southerton. I see things very differently now. Do not think of me as I appeared then."
What do you think?
I think I am feeling like none of that is true.
Okay.
Like I really want it to be.
Okay.
Right? But
Yeah.
like I feel like at this point, I know that in the last episode, we got to really the last couple chapters, we got to see his side of things and like see that he does find a lot of positives in Fanny and is
Mhm.
interested by her. But I don't think he is a changed man.
Okay.
I think once he falls in love with Fanny, he'll be a changed man.
You think he'll be a changed man if he falls in love with Fanny?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he'll be changed enough. Like the man who was wooing both Mariah and Julie at the same time, I don't think is capable of loving a person like Fanny. So I think if he falls in love with Fanny, he will have to have a little bit more softness.
He will have to have changed fundamentally because someone who could love Fanny and see what's good about Fanny couldn't possibly be the kind of man who would play so loosely with Mariah's reputation.
And with Fanny's.
And with Fanny's and Julia's and basically everyone except his own fucking sister. Well, actually, no. He is playing with his sister's reputation too because
Yeah.
his actions bear upon her. So he's just
Naughty, naughty
Naughty
boy.
boy.
But right now, like, do I think this is smooth and like I squealed a little bit when I read it? Yes. Do I believe that it is genuine? I don't think
Well,
so.
that's the beauty of reading it, is that you can be taken in. We haven't talked much about Jane Austen's writing of this book in like really particular prose, but her writing of Henry is masterful because we can't forget what Fanny thinks of Henry and all of his poor actions. But my God, does she write his prose to be drawing you in like
Yeah,
all the time? So like, it's hard not to be charmed by him, even if he
totally.
is kind of a douche canoe.
Yeah. 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 Mrs. Norris then pops in to say, "Oh, Southerton, that was such a great day. William, so sorry you missed it. Maybe you can visit the Rushworths in Brighton when you go back to Portsmouth. And when you go, I have something I needed to give to them, so maybe you can bring it for me." William is like, "Oh, I wouldn't be welcome in such a smart place as that, poor scrubby midshipman as I am." Sad.
Oh yeah, William's very much like this is a little bit above his station right now.
And he's so humble.
Yeah, he's a sweet, hardworking naval guy.
Yeah, I really like him.
Yeah.
Sir Thomas thinks that William will have more convenient ways of meeting the Rushworths, and he says, "You will find Mr. Rushworth most sincerely disposed to regard all the connections of our family as his own." When I first read that, I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." And then when I read it again, I was like, I
Is
f-
it?
I feel like he is just finding creative ways to talk shit about Mr. Rushworth, which
Aren't we all?
I agree with. So Sir Thomas finishes his whist game and comes to watch the speculation. And he observes Henry talking in detail about his plans for Thornton Lacey to Fanny, saying that he would like to rent the house himself the following winter.
And here is where you learn why he's talking so much about this renovation.
Yes, he wishes to have a place of his own in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for the hunting season, but somewhere he could spend the holidays, somewhere he might find himself continuing, improving, perfecting that friendship and intimacy with the Mansfield Park family, which was increasing in value to him every day, he says to Fanny. Fanny doesn't say much to this and doesn't let on how she feels about the things that he's saying. But he sees Sir Thomas watching them, so he turns to Sir Thomas and says the same thing a bit more casually. And Sir Thomas says, "Well, I would love to have you for a neighbor, but not by taking that house. Edmund's gonna live there, in his house."
Yep.
And Edmund's like, "Yeah, I will be living there, but you can definitely visit whenever you want. We can add stables on your own improved plan and with all the improvements of your improved plan that may occur to you this spring." What improvements? Say improve again. Improve.
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 I felt like Edmund was taking a little dig with all of the improvements.
Yeah, I do think here Edmund is genuinely like, oh, please visit anytime. But I think he's kind of like teasing
Yeah, definitely. Like,
Henry.
yeah, he's not gonna be outright mean. He likes Henry.
Yes, he does.
So Sir Thomas says that a clergyman is most effective when he lives among the people in his parish, which is something we talked about at the beginning, I think, being amongst the common people and living their lives.
Mhm.
And Fanny and Mary are both feeling some type of way about this whole conversation. Fanny didn't realize how soon Edmund was leaving and hadn't comprehended the fact that he was going to be living somewhere else and she wasn't going to see him every day, even though she knew that he was taking a living somewhere else. And Mary had only been thinking about the house and the improvements that her brother was describing. And now they're talking about the church and him giving sermons and giving sermons more than once a week. And she's like, "Ew,"
Yeah, she's so enamored with Edmund
for whatever
for
reason.
whatever reason. And what her brother's kind of saying encouragingly is like, this house isn't too bad actually. It's pretty nice, it's pretty large. It needs improvements for
Mhm.
sure.
And she's like, "Okay, I can get behind that."
But she's like, okay, there's like a manor like house, and if we squint and if we improve, we can almost make it look like a gentleman's home.
Mm-hmm.
And Edmund's like, I don't need all of that. It's a clergyman's house. Like, I'll be fine there. And Fanny's sitting here being like, oh, poop. We're going to lose Edmund. I'm not going to see him every day. And I love my cousin crush. And then Mary's like sitting there being like, oh, shit. I mean, I got pulled in by that like talk of the house. The house sounds nice and Edmund's nice. But God, all this like clergyman shit. Jesus.
Why does he have to have a job?
Yeah, why does he have to have that job? But jobs generally, I want him to just be a gentleman. Like,
Right.
she wants him to just be landed gentry
Yeah.
so that she can take on a better match for herself, but still love him. Like, I don't know. It's shallow and it's also selfish. I feel like a little bit bad for Mary because, like, it is like okay to be ambitious and women don't have a lot of avenues for ambition in this time period. But mostly I'm just kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, shit or get off the pot, Mary.
Yeah. Find someone else.
Find someone else who is more suitable for your economic circumstance, or just take up with the man you love and live a more modest lifestyle. You don't really have an option
Yeah.
one way or another.
Right. No, she's setting herself up for unhappiness. And we mustn't skate over the fact that Henry wants to stay here long term and was looking for a home for himself to rent.
Why would he do that?
In case he falls in love with Fanny, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a lot to do about a flirtation that he was using to preoccupy himself because he was bored.
Right. I mean, I think that where my head is at right now is like that seems fast for him to have fallen in love already. That's why part of why I don't think that he has yet. I feel like he is trying because like we said last episode, Fanny hasn't necessarily clocked that he's like giving her this kind of attention. I think he is trying to be as obvious as he can.
Yeah. I also think there's a difference between letting a house nearby and talking about letting a house nearby.
Right. He
Yeah.
didn't actually let a house.
No, and this house is actually unavailable because Edmund's already in there.
Yeah, but he sits down next to her and he's like, I was thinking about finding a place I could stay.
And she's like, I'm trying to play this card game.
She's like, I just learned the rules. Let me
Please.
focus. Okay, so the cards end and everyone's sitting around the fire and Fanny and William are sitting at the card table chit-chatting and Henry is sitting facing them from far away and
quite
observing.
literally just watching.
Just watching. He likes to watch them talk to each other.
He sure does.
Bisexual king. William says that tonight is the assembly night at Portsmouth. And Fanny's like, oh, but you don't wish you were at Portsmouth, do you? And he says, no, because then I wouldn't be with you, sweet dear Fanny. Plus, he couldn't get a partner at those dances because girls turn their noses up at midshipmen, which is sad. And this pisses Fanny off because this is her brother we're talking about. And she's like, you know what? It's just like, it's any other hardship that you face, like bad weather at sea. One day it will pass. One day you will be a lieutenant and you won't have to worry about being a midshipman anymore. And William says, I don't think I'm ever going to get promoted to being a lieutenant. And Fanny's like, I'm sure my uncle could do something. Isn't her uncle, or his uncle too, the reason that he got a job in the Navy at all?
Yeah. And so, like, the couple things here. One, Portsmouth is like the hub where the Prices live.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where William returns home.
Oh, right.
And so the assembly, it's not like the ball that like Emma Woodhouse is going to go to. It's like a little bit lower ranking than that, but it's like where the Navy men go.
Right.
And so it's like particularly insulting. I think that William isn't getting dances in favor of lieutenants here because like these are not like Mariah and Julia Bertram who are rejecting him.
Oh.
And so that's...
And William is hot?
I don't think so. I don't know. It's not really described. The Bertrams are canonically quite hot, which does explain some of why Edmund is getting all this attention. But I think, Fanny and William have in common that they didn't get fed well as children.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a little, I would assume he's small like Fanny is, but then again, he's been at sea for a while, so he's probably quite a strapping young lad. But that being said, the Navy is as we've talked about, quite a good vehicle for upward mobility.
Mm-hmm.
So with Sir Thomas's word on this, and Sir Thomas the Baronet has a good word, he can kind of like, with that connection, he can kind of make his way up the Navy ranks because a good connection and having enough good blood in the Navy can put you on a path to more success and like more money. And like I'm not saying he's going to be Captain Wentworth necessarily, but it's like a good indication like you can make your way up. Captain Wentworth's brother is a curate, which is lower than a rector. So like his connections were a little bit lower, but he had enough going on that he could make his way up a little bit. And then a lot. He made his name and made his fortune. But the Navy is like a good economic vehicle to actually make your way up the ladder. So William is not like left in a lurch to never make his way up.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of this isn't about his status, but rather in terms of his hotness, I think he's gonna be like Colonel Brandon level of hot.
All right, so we're putting William as like 30 years younger Colonel Brandon.
Yeah, exactly.
30 years is too much.
He's
20.
younger Colonel Brandon. Like when he gets older, he's gonna be rugged but handsome.
Okay, yes.
Um, okay, that is helpful. Thank you. So they are talking about this and they notice how close Sir Thomas is standing to them and they feel awkward, so they change the subject. And William asks Fanny if she likes dancing. And she says she does, but she gets tired pretty easily. And he says he would like to go to a ball and dance with her like they used to when they were kids. And he asks his uncle if Fanny is a good dancer. And Fanny's like, oh my God, he's going to say I'm a terrible dancer. And he merely says that he hasn't seen Fanny dance since she was a child. Henry says that he has seen Fanny dance and he can answer any questions William has on the subject. But when he sees how distressed Fanny is by this, he says, let's talk about it another time. Because there is one person in company who does not like to have Miss Price spoken of, and that is Fanny Price.
There's one person in company who does not like to have Miss Price spoken of. Ladies.
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 The thing is, we get a little glimpse into his POV here, too, and the narrator tells us it's true that he has seen Fanny dance, but he can't remember anything other than the fact that she was there. So he could have talked about how great a dancer she was and how graceful and everything.
He would have been talking straight up out of his ass.
Yeah, which is why I feel like there's still a layer of faking it
Yes.
to everything that he's doing. Sir Thomas then goes on about the balls in Antigua, and William talks about the dances that he's been to at sea and, well, I guess at port. And then Mrs. Norris starts yelling at Fanny that their coach is there and how dare she still be sitting. Mrs. Norris tells Sir Thomas that she's settled it that the coachman will come back for him, Edmund, and William. This was actually originally Sir Thomas's idea, that it would take the ladies first and then come back for him. But because it's Mrs. Norris talking, she's saying it like it's her idea, which I thought was funny. And then Edmund takes Fanny's shawl to put around her shoulders, and Henry swoops in, grabs the shawl, and puts it around Fanny's shoulders. And Fanny is bitter that she has to tell him thank you.
Yeah, she's salty she didn't get a little cousin touch there.
She wanted her cousin to touch her shoulders.
Yeah, she really did.
And that's the end of that chapter.
Yes.
Which brings us to chapter 8, or chapter 26. So, the next morning, Sir Thomas says he would like to throw a dance at their home.
And Mrs. Norris is like, wouldn't that be nice if Julia and Mariah were here?
Yeah. And he's like, okay, well, they have their pleasures at Brighton, and this dance would be for their cousins. And just because some members of the family aren't here doesn't mean that we can't all have fun. And Mrs. Norris is like, for the first time in her life, perhaps, shocked into silence.
Actually speechless.
That this man wants to throw a ball for
Fanny Price and William Price.
The Prices.
Yeah.
Crazy. She's also shocked that he didn't consult her first and that he's just saying this. But she decides that it's okay because she's going to do all of the work of planning it. Edmund is happy that his father is showing such kindness to William and Fanny. And Lady Bertram is assured that the dance will not give her any trouble. And she says, don't worry, I'm not worried. Mrs. Norris has suggestions about the ball, what rooms to use, what day it should be, but Sir Thomas has taken care of everything. I like to think that he's just been like sitting up all night being like, okay, guest list.
Oh my God. So Lady Bertram's obviously passing out like very early in the evening. And she stays asleep, pug curled up like right by her.
The best.
Yeah. And so technically in the Regency era, it's not necessarily true that they would be sharing a bed, but in my headcanon, so we're gonna entertain it. In my headcanon, the Bertrams are sharing a bed, and Lady Bertram is lying down in the bed. She's got lovely face mask on and is in like a nightgown ball gown with Pug curled up on her chest.
And a bonnet.
And she has a bonnet. Pug has a bonnet. Pug also has a sleep mask. Mr. Wobbles. And then Sir Thomas is up by candlelight, like feverishly, like analog Pinterest boarding a ball.
Analog Pinterest boarding.
Analog Pinterest boarding this ball. And we'll talk about it in the study questions, but really good question as to why. Just planting the seed.
That is a great question. I hadn't considered the why of it. So he's decided that the ball will be the 22nd because William is leaving on the 23rd. And Mrs. Norris is like, I was going to say that too. Invitations are sent. All the young ladies in the land are so excited when they go to bed that night. All the young ladies except Fanny, because Fanny doesn't know what to wear.
Been there, girl.
Yeah. She has one piece of jewelry, an amber cross that William gave her. But William could not afford to get a chain with it. So when she's worn it with a ribbon. And she isn't sure that that's going to be fancy enough for this ball. And she's distressed because William's going to be there. She wants to make sure that she wears the piece of jewelry he gave her. But this is too much pressure. The ball is being given for her. It's a lot. Lady Bertram, throughout all of the preparations, is just sitting on the couch, and she's like, yeah, this isn't giving me any trouble, as everyone's just like running around her. Edmund is preoccupied. So he's not as worried about this because he's got two big events coming up in life that will really, the book says, fix his fate. He's got ordination and matrimony.
One of those seems a little bit more set in stone than the other.
Yes, it sure does. He, on the 23rd, is going to Peterborough with a friend to get ordained over Christmas. So that's set. As to the wife, he doesn't know how she feels. At times, he's certain she loves him. But then they have one of their
spats.
Their little lovers' quarrels.
That get in the way of their lovers' vows.
Yeah.
Throwback.
We just high-fived across the room.
We sure did.
He thinks about her acknowledged disinclination for privacy and retirement, her decided preference of a London life, and he is sure that she will reject him. But the question is whether she loves him enough to overcome these needs of hers.
So let's take a step back for a second. This is somewhat a new Jane Austen situation for us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we've had the object of our leading lady's affection. I don't know if we've been in his perspective actively contemplating proposing to another woman. Right now, Edmund is in a spot where he is in love enough with Mary that he would like to take his orders and then propose. And what's holding him back here?
That Mary kind of hates everything he stands for.
It's a lack of certainty about whether or not she'll accept.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's, first of all, very tough look for our girl, Fanny Price.
And yeah, no, it's not great. I'd be honest, like, Fanny's love for Edmund has become such background noise. I feel like.
Interesting. Expand on that.
At the beginning, I was obviously shipping it very heavily.
Yes, you were.
Then, as time went on, it became clear that he was not interested in her in that way. And it started to just feel sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I lost hope for her. And now that there's so much else going on and so many other love stories to follow.
The Crawfords, really, you have Mary in the apple of Edmund's eye, and you have Henry now with his sights set on Fanny. It does kind of put the unrequited love Fanny holds for Edmund Bertram in the back seat.
Yeah, and she's also been experiencing more life since the beginning of this book. Like, she has been raised in everyone's opinion in the last couple chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in a better place and she isn't so forlorn about it all the time.
She's not spending all of her time just like moping around about how Edmund doesn't love her and he's the only person who has ever showed her any fucking kindness. Right now, she's pretty happy.
Yeah. So there is the knowledge that she will always love him for me, but like it is not the thing that I'm paying attention to anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mary has decided to go to London for an extended period of time. Her friend has invited her, and she is excited about this. And the fact that she is so excited about this makes him think she will say no to him when he proposes. But then later on, after the initial excitement wears off, he overhears her telling Mrs. Grant that she's going to regret leaving them all behind, and like, will it be worth it to leave the company that I have here for the company there? And like, I already am thinking about coming home to Mansfield. And he's like, okay, maybe she's a yes. Edmund feels like a ballroom isn't the best place to talk about serious feelings. So he's like not really.
It's for the sexy hand touching.
He's ready for the sexy hand touching. He's like, I'm going to make sure that I engage her for the first two dances, but then I'm going to go home.
The most relatable Edmund Bertram's been the whole book.
Honestly. So it's the day before the ball, and Fanny still has not decided what to wear. So she goes to the parsonage to get advice from Mrs. Grant and Mary Crawford. Edmund and William are out, so she assumes Henry will be too. I was hoping that they were going to run into him, but he was not there.
Are you shipping?
I'm going to refuse to answer that at this time.
Okay, we're going to get to the end of the chapters. I am going to ask you if you are team Fanry or team Fanmond.
Great.
Fanry, Fanmond, is that the correct? Edney?
Well, it would be, otherwise it would be Henny and Eddie. So I think it has to be Fanry and
Fanmond. Gorgeous.
What about Hanny and Fanmond?
Hanny and Fanmond. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
We'll get there, though.
We'll get there. So she is on her way over and she runs into Mary, who had actually been on her way to come see Fanny. And at first, Mary's like, oh man, I really wanted to get this walk in. And Fanny's like, well, listen, here's why I've come. I want your advice on this, but we could talk about it while we walk if you really want to walk. And Mary's like, oh, wait, fashion show?
Are you kidding?
Like, wait,
dress up.
Come upstairs. So they go in and do a fashion show. Well, they don't do a fashion show, but they discuss all of the options and decide on a dress. But then Mary asks about jewelry, and this is the problem. Will she wear the cross? And Fanny says, I don't know. And Mary presents a box of gold chains from which Fanny is free to choose what she wants. This is actually, she had been intending to bring it to Fanny just now of her own volition without being told that Fanny needed a necklace. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Fanny is mortified by being presented with a gift like this. And Mary's like, please, I have too many. I never wear these. And after much back and forth, Fanny agrees to pick a necklace. And she picks the one that Mary kind of keeps pushing forward because she thinks that's probably the one that Mary will miss the least since she's trying the hardest to get rid of it. Fanny would rather be obliged to someone else because this is her sworn enemy.
Yeah.
And also her friend.
Yeah. I think Mary Crawford and Fanny really do define frenemy.
Yeah.
Like Jane Fairfax and Emma Woodhouse have a frenemy thing going on, but let's be real, very sexually charged.
Yeah, I was going to say that's more of a...
enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Rivals to lovers, truly. That's a heated rivalry, if
That's
you will.
a heated rivalry. We can't go down that rabbit hole.
We truly will be here till midnight.
Yeah.
But this friendship is so fraught because it truly is, in the most traditional sense, a love triangle. There's a man between the two of them.
Yeah. So Fanny feels guilty for feeling this way because she's like, okay, Mary was literally going to bring me these necklaces like a real friend. It says in the book, quote, like a real friend. So she says, okay, you know what? This is a very nice gesture. Whenever I wear this necklace, I will think of you. And Mary says, you should think of my brother because he got it for me. And when you think of him, you can think of me because we're related. And Fanny's like, take it back. I don't want it. And Mary's like, come on. Like, what do you think? Henry's going to think that you stole it from me? And I need to read this quote. I will say that part of why Fanny wants her to take it back is because she cannot imagine parting with a gift from her brother. But this quote I must read. Okay, so Mary has said, what do you think? He's going to think you stole it from me? Or are you imagining he would be too much flattered by seeing round your lovely throat an ornament which his money purchased 3 years ago before he knew there was such a throat in the world? Or perhaps, looking archly, you suspect a confederacy between us, and that what I am doing now is with his knowledge and at his desire. I wonder if it is. Spicy, but also like weird because Mary was against him trying to woo Fanny at first and then was like, okay, whatever, do what you want.
Interesting, right?
Yes. Very interesting. She definitely did this on purpose because she kept pushing it forward, but I don't think that Henry oh my God. I don't think that Henry told her to do it. I think that she's trying to make Henry think that Fanny has a crush on him back. Maybe. We'll get into it. Okay, so anyway, Mary says that Henry is always giving her stuff. This particular necklace has no particular value to her. Henry won't remember giving it to her. I'm going to miss this necklace the least out of all of them. Just take it. So Fanny takes it. She has noticed that Henry has been more attentive to her, and she clocks that he is treating her how he treated her cousins. She suspects that he wants to cheat her of her tranquility, and she thinks he knows about the necklace. She is onto him.
Fanny Price, no slouch.
She's no slouch. And she thinks that he knows about the necklace because, quote, Miss Crawford, complaisant as a sister, was careless as a woman and a friend. So she's like, this two-faced.
You know, if someone said that about me, I think I'd curl up into a ball and die. Not a girl's girl.
I mean, harsh.
I mean, yeah, no, what I'm saying is that's the insult. She's saying she's not a girl's
No,
girl.
yeah, exactly. She's like, she would do whatever her brother tells her to, but she doesn't
Without
give a
care
fuck about her friends.
or any women,
Yeah.
generally.
Yeah. Yikes.
Oof.
Anyway, that's the end of that chapter.
It sure is, which brings us to the patron study questions. We got a light list this time, but listeners, if you would like to ask questions about the chapters and have us answer them on the air, you can become a patron at the $15 tier, and Molly will post a Google Doc. You can submit your questions, and we will answer them. So Avi asks, the amber cross that William gives to Fanny is likely modeled on a topaz cross that Jane Austen's own sailor brother Charles bought for her and Cassandra. Why did Austen put it in there? And knowing this, does it give any extra significance to Mary's gift of the chain?
I think this is getting at the Fanny would never give away a gift from her brother that was precious to her. And she can't comprehend Mary giving away a chain that her brother gave her.
Yeah, and I think we talked last time about how the relationship with William is so imbued with Jane Austen's actual affection for her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something sacred about the little cross from William for her.
Mhm.
It's like a totem of like her true self and her true love. It is also a cross. And we are, still living in the soup of this Christian morality that's like part of this book.
Mhm.
So it carries a lot of symbolism.
Mhm.
And Mary putting it on this chain from Henry
Mm.
is kind of it's a little blasphemous.
I was going to say it tarnishes the purity of the gift.
Exactly, because the gift is something so pure. It's literally Christian.
Mhm.
It's a pure love that exists between Fanny and her brother, unlike any other thing in her life. And it is a little disharmonious with the Crawfords and their scheming, even if such scheming comes with any sort of genuine affections, which is not confirmed or denied.
Yeah, what's weird is that Mary and Henry they also are like an interesting model of siblinghood because they do love each other and they like
The Wario of the William Fanny relationship.
exactly, like they do love each other, but they are chaotic evil.
Oh yeah, they're chaos and immorality to Fanny and
They're
William's,
lawful good.
Fanny and William have been held on to like a profound affection for each other over the course of 7 years, where one of them has been at sea the whole time.
Yeah.
And like take these beautiful snippets together in each other's lives
Mhm.
as like moments to like really share the love and affection between them, whereas Henry and Mary flit in and out of each other's lives, kind of sniping at each other, but there's a way in which they truly know each other and care for each other,
Mhm.
but they're just different people. It's very interesting. So it
Yeah.
is interesting that it's Mary's gift from Henry that goes with Fanny's gift from William.
Yeah.
That's the only patron study question we have for these chapters. So we're going to move on to the Becca study questions. What is Sir Thomas's interest in the ball and Henry?
Okay, so in the beginning
Mhm.
of the chapters, we learn that Sir Thomas has clocked this whole thing.
He's
But
seen things beginning to grow in the lasagna.
yes, and he is no Mrs. Bennet. I don't remember what it says specifically. It gave the idea of he's no Mrs. Bennet. Like he's not gonna try to get Fanny married off. Let me just read it.
Yeah.
And though infinitely above scheming or contriving for any of the most advantageous matrimonial establishment that could be among the apparent possibilities of anyone most dear to him, and disdaining even as a littleness the being quick sighted on such points, so rushing into it, he could not avoid perceiving in a grand and careless way that Mr. Crawford was somewhat distinguishing his niece, nor perhaps refrain, though unconsciously, from giving a more willing assent to invitations on that account. So he's not trying to marry her off or rush her into anything, but I think he, for whatever reason that we've talked about a lot, him suddenly thinking of Fanny as his own daughter, basically. Like he's like, oh, yes, my niece. He is seeing this affection and I think thinking, well, that's great. That must be a good thing because every young lady wants to be courted by a young man. And he thinks that it would make Fanny happy to spend more time with him, perhaps, and is trying to orchestrate that.
And what would be the other dynamic of this? Why would Fanny be happy?
Fanny would be happy because, aside from the potential of getting married,
Hmm. Well,
um,
connected to it.
connected to it. To raise her status. He's rich.
Economics of Dating and Jane Austen. Graham, the sound effect. That is right. When Fanny first came to the Bertram household, her prospects for an advantageous match weren't like amazing. She's not wealthy and she has very few connections outside of the Bertram clan. And this is a pretty good fish to spear.
He's real rich.
He's rich. He's well connected. He's a property owner. He's like well bred, like in a certain way. And
In a
like
certain way, yeah.
in a certain way. On paper, Henry Crawford is kind of like a jackpot for a woman like Fanny. A jackpot a woman like Fanny only gets if he falls in love with her.
Right. So Sir Thomas is like, yeah, let's give them the right circumstances.
Yeah, he's like, I can't believe her luck that like a rich guy wants her.
Yeah. Sucks to be a woman in this time period.
Sucks to be a woman in this time period. Sucks more to be a poor woman in this time period.
Yeah. And it sucks the most to be Fanny Price.
Yeah, being Fanny Price is rough. Being Fanny Price is a punishment unto itself in this book.
Yeah.
How does Henry's discussion of Edmund's estate teach us about the character's development through the story?
Well, I think primarily we learn about Edmund and Mary through that conversation. Because Henry stays liking to do physical labor, I guess. I don't know. He likes to landscape
decor.
interior design.
Interior design is my passion.
Yeah. Oh my god, graphic design is my passion. So, with regard to Edmund and Mary, I liked Mary's arc here. I mean, I didn't like Mary's arc here, but like she is listening to Henry talk about how wonderful the house could be with all its potential and how it's like mansion like and it could be a house of a man of good breeding and intelligence and education and manners. And she's like, those are all the things I want. And I almost feel like Henry is saying that stuff for her benefit rather than for Edmund's benefit. And Edmund doubles down and is like, this will be enough for me. And I hope it will be enough for anyone who cares about me, Mary Crawford. And Mary Crawford is like, it really won't.
Yeah. And then I think it's also just, it's revealing like this is a part of Henry's personality that he likes this stuff. And the way he immediately shifts to be like, that's not me anymore for Fanny.
Oh my God. Yeah. But it so obviously is still him.
Yep.
But how I read that section was like, I didn't do a good job with my interior design at Southerton. Like that wasn't really indicative of how I do. I hope you won't think of me like that. But I think what he is trying to say is don't think of me like the guy who's running off with your engaged cousin.
That is absolutely what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
He's trying to say basically like, because when she was on the Ha-Ha, remember, they all just overlooked her.
Left her there.
Left her there on the Ha-Ha so he could be debaucherous with her engaged cousin. And every time someone brings up the fucking Southerton estate, Henry Crawford is reminded that she saw him do something wildly improper, and he's trying to be like, listen, I've changed.
I've changed. But also, like, have you changed enough to not ditch Fanny
On the
on the
ha ha ha.
ha-ha?
That's the most important question.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to check in with our boy Edmund Bertram here for a second. Our fave character,
Mhm.
our the apple of each of our eyes. Knightley ain't got nothing on Edmund Bertram. I'm kidding.
Ah.
So I actually do want to like take a moment for Edmund as a character because we get Edmund's internal monologue for a second here, which we
Yes.
rarely get. And I think this is an interesting piece of the book. Like, what's fresh here? What's new? What do we learn? What is Jane Austen teaching us in this section?
That he has plans to propose.
Yes, very important.
That he doubts that he will be accepted.
Yes, that's right.
And that he is not willing to change for this woman. I mean, think we already knew that, but we heard it in his own head.
Yes. It's also, I think, I someone can correct me if I'm wrong here. I think that from the books we've read, this is the first time we have gotten like a man considering a potential proposal in the future
Yeah, I guess we keep getting the proposals sprung on us
from men
from men. Yeah.
to women or women thinking about potential proposals upcoming.
Right.
But Edmund here is also showing us the economics of dating in Jane Austen, Graham the Sound Effect, from the perspective of a man.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's having a problem with this, where he is a second son to a baronet and he has, you know, a comfortable life ahead of him, but not a luxurious one.
And he knows he wouldn't be her first choice.
And that is hindering him from being with the woman he loves.
Again, for whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
I mean, I guess she's really hot.
I'll be honest. I get why Edmund likes her. She's dangerous. She's sexy.
Funny and quirky.
Like, we have all overlooked serious red flags when we were really into someone.
And I would be into Mary Crawford, I guess. I would be into both. The Crawfords, like, you can't
a
hate them.
bisexual buffet, if you will.
They really are a bisexual buffet. I can't hate them. But
it's really hard to, yeah.
But I do wonder why he has stayed in it this long when she so clearly wants to change him at a fundamental level. But that's why we got to hear his side of things.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna just like really quickly stretch because I'm about to defend Edmund Bertram.
Oh my god! Oh my god, it's happening.
Yeah, I think like he's an extremely loyal person. He's shown his interest in her. She's shown her interest in him. He loves her.
Mm-hmm.
That is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, I mean, it's a reputation thing.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty tough at this point.
Yeah.
They've pretty obviously formed an attachment.
Yeah. That's true.
I think that like he clearly adores her and he is planning to try to make her his wife. And he's a loyal man. So even if she wants to change stuff about him, he's loyal both to the church and to her. The real question is which one of those loyalties will win out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've always assumed it would be the church, but golly
gee.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think the ball will uncover and what's its place at this point in the book?
I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I'm most excited for Henry to see Fanny wearing the necklace.
Oh my god, this man has a chokehold on you.
He does. I don't know. I just think it's going to be really fun.
You now understand why Maria Bertram lost her fucking engaged mind.
Yes.
Like his charm is very hard to resist.
Yeah, I just think that's going to be he's going to ask her to dance. They're going to dance. He's going to say something in his voice about her necklace and how that I recognize that chain.
Necklace.
Throat.
Necklace. Throat.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's here in the book because we're at Fanny's peak right now. Yeah. So it's time to see her actually get to dance at a ball.
Yeah, it's time. And honestly, like I think like this is technically kind of a debut for her because she's not out in society.
She isn't, but there was a dance. There was a ball. She's been to a ball already.
She has been to one ball.
But she didn't dance at the ball. Did she? She danced with Edmund.
She did dance with Edmund and it overtook her life.
But this is
and then she danced with Tommy Boy as well.
Yeah.
Big T.
But this ball is being thrown for her. So that
and for William, yeah.
And for William. This feels like a debut.
This is also like Sir Thomas is like hosting a ball rather than just like a little dance party.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Last question before the standbys. What is Mary's intent in giving Fanny her cross? We already kind of talked about this, but you want to float any other theories?
Yeah, I mean, I think one theory is what I said, which is that she wants Henry to think that Fanny likes him
Mhm.
back and, like, specifically wanted that chain. But there's also the possibility that Henry finagled this and was like, "Give Fanny my chain." Or she could just wanna stir the pot.
Oh, and I'll add this. Team Hanny or Team Fanmond?
Currently,
Yeah.
Hanny.
Team Hanny?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We don't have to explain that right now, but I'm just taking your temperature.
Yeah.
Funniest quote?
There were a lot of funny moments in this set of chapters, but I think we've gotta go with Edmund. "No, I never inquire. But I told a man mending a hedge that it was Thornton Lacey, and he agreed to it."
That was Henry, but yes, great
Did I
quote.
who did I say it was? Oh
Edmund.
god.
Edmund would never be that smooth
Edmund
talking.
would never.
Yeah. I will also give one shout out before we move to questions moving forward. There is mention that at the whist table, Mrs. Norris and Dr. Grant are getting into it together and like fighting.
Incredible.
Ugh.
Was it As yet, Sir Thomas had seen nothing to remark in Mr. Crawford's behavior, but when the whist table broke up at the end of the second rubber, and leaving Dr. Grant and Mrs. Norris to dispute over their last play, he became a looker-on at the other.
Yes, that's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
incredible. There was also, I really liked, while we're on the card game, Henry is talking about, "Oh, it's the air of a gentleman's residence, blah, 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 blah." And then in parentheses, "Let me see, Mary. Lady Bertram bids a dozen for that queen. No, no, a dozen is more than it is worth. Lady Bertram does not bid a dozen. She will have nothing to say to it. Go on, go on." And then just moving on with his conversation.
God bless. Questions moving forward?
What will happen at the ball? Will Fanny and Henry dance? Will Fanny and Edmund dance? Will Edmund and Mary dance? Will Edmund propose? What will happen with the necklace? So much. I have so much.
Who wins the chapters?
I'm feeling like, on the one hand, I want to give it to Fanny because she really was the star of these chapters. On the other hand, I want to give it to Mary for being a troublemaker. And on the third hand, I want to give it to William because I love him. On the fourth hand, I want to give it to Sir Thomas for being very perceptive here. Who would you give it to?
I would personally give it to Sir Thomas for Pinterest boarding in bed, but
Yeah.
or I would give it to probably William.
We haven't given Sir Thomas a win yet, and he planned a ball for Fanny, that and for William, which I think is pretty awesome. That gives him
Okay.
a lot of points.
So Sir Thomas wins these chapters. Okay, listeners, that concludes this episode of Pod and Prejudice. For next time, you're going to be reading the next two chapters of Mansfield Park, chapters 9 and 10 of volume the second, or if you're in a non-volumed book, chapters 27 and 28. Molly, are you ready to go to the ball?
I can't wait.
Well, then until next time, stay proper.
And play a game of whist
Whist.
or speculation. Pod and Prejudice is edited by Molly Burdick and audio produced by Graham Cook. Our show art is designed by Torrance Brown. Our show is transcribed by SpeechDocs Podcast Transcription. For transcripts and to learn more about our team, check out our website at podandprejudice.com. To keep up with the show, you can follow us on social media at Pod and Prejudice. If you love what you hear, check out our Patreon to see how you can support us, buy some merch at podandprejudice.dashery.com, or just drop us a rating and a review wherever you get your podcasts. Stay proper.